सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। हरि ओम, जय गुरुदेव। Brahmaraji, as per your direction, we will repeat the 10th stanza.
Yeah, I think we'll do that one more time, no?
Okay, yeah. Yes. So okay. We were looking at Bhagwan's para and apara prakriti, and in that further explanation. Bijam mam sarva bhutanam viddhi partha sanatanam buddhir buddhimatam asmi tejasvinam aham. Partha, O son of Pritha, Arjuna, Mam, me, the Parmeshwara, Sarva Bhutanam, in all beings, Sanatanam, Bijam, as the eternal seed, Viddhi, understand, Buddhimatam, of those that have the capacity to discriminate, that is human beings, Buddhihi, the intellect, Tejasvinam, in the brilliant, Tejas, the brilliance, Aham Asmi, I am, Partha, I am, Kshamyatam, Partha, Mam, Sarva Bhutanam, Sanatanam Bijam, Viddhi, Buddhimatam, Buddhi, Tejasvinam, Tejasa, Aham Asmi. O Partha, Arjuna, understand me as the one who is the eternal seed in all beings. I am the intellect of those that have the capacity to discriminate. I am the brilliance in the brilliant. Viddhi, understand, Mam, me, Parmeshwara, as the bija, seed, sarva bhutanam, in all living beings. The sense in which bija is used here is different from the sense in which yoni was used previously when Bhagavan said, Etad yoni bhutani sarvani. This prakriti of mind is the cause of everything. Here, bija is the seed form of any living. Each tree has its own seed, which is the essence that makes it a given tree and not any other. Similarly, each animal, each human being is what he is because of a particular seed. That biological source is myself. Again, it is the laws that make all this possible, and those laws are Ishvara. When a seed is planted, it sprouts within a given time. The biological law that causes the sprouting of the seed is myself. As it was pointed out earlier, here Krishna is not talking about the general cause for the creation. Within the creation, there is a further cause for creation. That final cause is also me. Then he says, Sanatana, eternal. Sanatana can go with Mam, me, the one who is eternal, the seed of all the beings. It can also be an adjective to Bija, but that would make it the general cause, which cannot be the meaning here. Even though that meaning is possible, it is not appropriate in the context. Therefore, the meaning is, please understand that the eternal me, Parmeshwara, is indeed the bija, the seed of every living being. This is in keeping with the flow of the unfoldment. Similarly, the statement Buddhi Buddhimatam Asmi. This removes all ahankara. Buddhimats are those who have the capacity to discriminate. Not all living beings have an intellect. So the word Buddhimatam means among the human beings. Each one has an intellect, a buddhi, because of which he is called Buddhimat. That buddhi, the rational capacity or the free will, is the Lord. Therefore, if there is a person who can think properly, that accomplishment in terms of intellectual discipline is me. That buddhi, that capacity itself is me. Therefore, nobody can say that I am buddhimat. That aham can only be Parmeshwara. Tejas, Tejasvinam aham. Tejas means the shine of health or brilliance. Among the brilliant people, I am the brilliance. He has already said, I am the buddhi, intellectual capacity in the human beings who are capable of thinking. If so, why do only some become brilliant? It is true that everybody is buddhimat, but the person who makes an effort is the one who becomes brilliant, who becomes educated. The brilliance that he is able to tap within himself is also myself. So I think Bhagavan has clarified both the causes of creation and the causes of sustenance also. Apara and para through various examples that in Buddhimat, he is the Buddhi, in Tejas Vinam, he is the Tejas, and in those who are with strength, who are physically strong, he is that strength. But again, it is that aham is also Parmeshwar, Ishwar only. The moment you say aham as I, the jiva, it becomes different. Anyone can make it simplify, kindly unmute and share.
See, if you go back to the previous shloka, where he talks of Sutre Manigana Iva.
Very beautiful.
Whereas, there, that is the yoni he's talking about. That is the thread, the sutra. But here he's talking of Bijamam Sarvabhutanam. So even the individual beads, he is. So he is both there is only one. Whether it is the para or the apara prakriti, there is only one. He's only clarifying that there is only one that exists. He's now going on to explain how he is the individually. He's like differentiating, and he's saying, I am Bijam Mam Sarva Bhutanam Buddhim Buddhimatam Asmi. So basically, we cannot claim any kind of doership. If you are intelligent, it is not because of your greatness. It is because it is only Ishvara. It is only Ishvara's greatness that is expressing through you, your body. That's it. So therefore he says it slashes out ahankara there. Buddhimatam asmi. And tejasvinamaham. I'm the brilliance amongst the brilliant.
Yeah, that was so beautifully explained. Balam balavatam chaham kamaraga vivarjitam dharma viruddho bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshaba. Cha and Bharatarshaba, O foremost in the clan of Bharata Arjuna, Balavatam, of the strong people, Kama Raga Vivarjitam, that which is free from Kama, desire, and Raga, attachment, Balam, the strength, Bhuteshu, in the beings, Dharma Aviruddha, that which is not opposed to Dharma, Kama, desire, Aham Asmi, I am. Cha Bharatarshaba Balavatam Kama Raga Vivarjitam Balam Bhuteshu Dharma Aviruddha Kamaha Aham Asmi. And in the strong, I am the strength that is free from desire and attachment. In all beings, I am the desire that is not opposed to Dharma, O the foremost in the clan of Bharata. I repeat, and in the strong, I am the strength that is free from desire and attachment. Please remember, free from desire and attachment. In all beings, I am the desire that is not opposed to Dharma, O the foremost in the clan of Bharata. Balam Balavatam Asmi. I am the strength of all people who are strong. Developing physical strength requires dedication because strength is a potential which can be brought to manifestation. And what is potential is Ishvara. So the strength that is developed is Bhagwan. People are not born with large biceps, they work for them. Even the free will required to accomplish this is Bhagwan. Therefore, that strength which is latent in all people and is manifest in the Balavat, the strong person, the strength because of which he is called Balavat, that strength I am. So the person who is strong cannot say I am strong unless that I am is Ishvara. Ishvara is not simply any Bala, but a Bala that is devoid of Kama and Raga. Kama Raga Vivarjitam Balam Aham Asmi. Generally, Kama is a word that covers Raga and Dvesha. But here, Kama and Raga are mentioned separately. So, we have to look at the meaning a little differently. Here, Kama is a desire to accomplish what you don't have, and Raga is an attachment to what you have. This is a very important statement. I read once again. Please pay attention. Here, Kama is a desire to accomplish what you don't have, and Raga is an attachment to what you have. Please remember, this is a major takeaway. In his commentary on this verse, Shankara says that Kama is a longing for objects which are not with you, which are away from you, and therefore to be accomplished by you. Raga is attachment to objects which are already gained by you. So beautiful. Here Bhagwan is saying the strength in the strong that is without Kama and Raga is me. This has to be mentioned with reference to strength. Earlier he has said, I am the Buddhi of the Buddhimata, the Tejas of the Tejaswin, the Tapas of the Tapaswin. But unlike here, there he did not qualify those with any adjective. But when it comes to strength, a condition is mentioned because where there is strength, there can always be abuse. Kama and Raga signify Ahankara. Therefore, it is a strength which is free from Ahankara. So beautiful. So we just have to remember those asuras who were so much proud of, like Ravana, Banasur. They had so much of strength, but they had that ahankara, and because of that, they misused, they abused their strength. Even though it is not specifically mentioned, this can apply everywhere. If somebody has brilliance, it should also be kama raga vivarjitam. Kama and raga are centered on ego, ahankara. So, what is there without the misappropriation of the ahankara is naturally Bhagavan. When ego is present, it sullies the whole thing. If Bhagavan is not appreciated, the person with strength becomes a source of fear. If he has strength and also kama and raga, he is no longer Ishvara. He becomes a ruffian. If there is really a strong man who doesn't have kama and raga, you will see only Ishvara. It is true even in music. If someone has a gift for music but has the sense that I am a musician, then you can't enjoy his music. The ahankara vitiates the beauty. And to extent that he doesn't have ahankara, you can enjoy his music. That is so true. That is why we enjoy the bhajans of our ashramites in because they sing with that Ishwararpana. So we can feel that bliss when they sing. Here, Bhagwan says, understand me to be the very strength in the people who are strong and free from ahankara. Even in the people who have ahankara, the strength is myself, but it is not visible. A strong person can be a great support because if you have the protection of a strong man, you are fearless. But if he has kama and raga, he becomes a source of fear. Therefore, strength with ahankara is dangerous. That is why he tells all this here. In fact, the whole thing is to remove the ahankara. I read this paragraph again because there was voice breaking. Here, Bhagavan says, understand me to be the very strength in the people who are strong and free from ahankara. Even in the people who have ahankara, the strength is myself, but it is not visible. A strong person can be a great support because if you have the protection of a strong man, you are fearless. But if he has kama and raga, he becomes a source of fear. Therefore, strength with ahankara is dangerous. That is why he tells all this here. In fact, the whole thing is to remove the ahankara. Dharma aviruddha bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshaba. In the living beings, I am the desire that is not against dharma, said Krishna. This is another beautiful thing. We always hear it said that desire should be removed. That is nonsense. O Bharatarshaba, the foremost in the clan of Bharata, listen. Aham kama asmi. I am desire. I am the very desire because kama is a shakti, a power. Without that desire, there would be no creation. Therefore, I am that very form of desire. Kamosmi Bharatarshaba. And what should this desire be like? It should be dharma aviruddha, unopposed to dharma. There you can see Ishvara. Suppose a person is free from ahankara. He has a lot of talents, skills, wisdom, and so on, but no desire to do anything. Then it all just remains inside. He doesn't have a desire to talk. He doesn't have a desire to write. He doesn't have a desire to share. Suppose he doesn't have those desires, because he need not have desires, then Bhagavan he has to say, I am the silence in the silent people. So compassionate Bhagavan is. He is saying, even though the people, those people who have the talents, wisdom, and they do not share or talk those talents or desire to share them, I am that silence in them. But he can also have desires, because desire itself does not bind. Therefore, he says that he is Dharma Aviruddha Kama. Dharma is in keeping with the Shastra and in keeping with the universal order of ethics. And the desire that is in keeping with Dharma is the beauty of Bhagavan. It is the expression of Bhagavan. Anything beautiful has come out of such a desire. This is what we call Ichha Shakti, the power of desiring, which is a part of Maya Shakti. So, in all beings, any desire that is unopposed to Dharma is myself. Previously, he indicated the Jnana Shakti when he said, I am the Buddhi in the Buddhimata and the Tejas in the Tejasvi. That Jnana Shakti is Bhagavan. He also said that I am the Bala in the Balavat. This Bala indicates the Kriya Shakti, which is also Bhagavan. Here, Ichha Shakti is referred to, and that is also Bhagavan. Since Krishna has said that I am the desire which is not against Dharma. If a desire is against Dharma, it belongs to the Jiva. Even though the Jiva is non-separate from Ishvara, since for the time being we are giving the Jiva a free will, those desires and desire prompted activities which are against Dharma definitely belong to the Jiva. They are not Ishvara. So Jnana Shakti, Ichha Shakti, Kriya Shakti. Once we have that Ishwararpan Buddhi without Ahankara, then automatically Bhagwan's concert, which is Ma Durga, who is Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti, automatically manifest. Very beautiful. Concluding this particular section using Cha to connect Krishna says, anyone wants me to repeat anything, because there was internet instability. So please let me know before we go to the next verse. If you want me to read anything. Concluding this particular section using Cha to connect Krishna says, Ye chaiva satvika bhava rajasastamasascha ye matta eveti tan viddihi natvaham teshu te mayi. Ye cha, and those, eva, indeed, satvikah, born of sattva, bhavah, beings and things, yecha, and those, rajasah, born of rajas, cha, and tamasah, born of tamas, tan, them, mattah eva, from me alone, iti, thus, viddhi, may you know, te mayi, they are in me. Tu, but na aham, I am not teshu in them. Ye cha eva satvikah bhavaah, ye cha rajasaah, cha tamasah, tan mattah eva iti Viddhi te mayi tu na aham teshu. And those beings and things which are indeed born of sattva, rajas, and tamas, may you know them to be born from me alone. They are in me, but I am not in them. I repeat, and those beings and things which are indeed born of sattva, rajas, and tamas, may you know them to be born from me alone. They are in me, but I am not in them. Ye cha eva satvikah bhavah. Those things which are born purely of sattva, desires which are sattvika in nature, like a desire to know, are born of sattva. If the antahkarana consists of three qualities, sattva, rajas, and tamas, sattva accounts for anything noble, anything in keeping with dharma. Even experiences like happiness, sukha, and tranquility, shanti, are born of sattva. Right attitudes, devotion, prayer are all sattvika bhava. I repeat, there was internet problem. Ye cha eva sattvika bhava. Those things which are born purely of sattva, desires which are sattvika in nature, like a desire to know, are born of sattva. If the antahkarana consists of three qualities, sattva, rajas, and tamas, sattva accounts for anything noble, anything in keeping with dharma. Even experiences like happiness, sukha, and tranquility, shanti, are born of sattva. Right attitudes, devotion, prayer are all sattvikaha bhavaha. Then those things which are born of rajas, like ambition, dislike, anger, and so on, are all rajasa. And those things which are tamasa in nature are born of tamas. Or we can take it this way. Ye bhavaha can mean those living beings, and satvikas can mean those who are born of sattva, like the devatas. In this case, it would mean predominantly sattva. And all the Rakshasas and so on are born of predominantly rajas. Similarly, tamasas can mean those who are born of predominantly tamas, such as the animals. Then we have the human beings who are sattva, rajas, and tamas put together. This accounts for all types of beings. Or we can take ye bhavaha as those people who are predominantly sattvika or rajasa or tamasa. Such people, all these various beings are all born out of their own karma. That being so, they are all born of me because the very karma is me. The law of karma itself is me. And further, the cause for everything is me. So, nothing is separate from me. To be born, you require a physical body, and for that, you require all five gross elements. These are all me. And you require subtle elements because without the subtle elements, there would be no subtle body, nor would there be any gross elements. And the subtle elements are also born of Ishvara. Therefore, there is nothing that is away from me. To be born with a given body, all these ingredients are required. All of them are me. I provide the upadana. I am the material for all of them. So, according to one's own karma, whatever form one takes, whether it is a tamasa or a sattvika form, That form is non-separate from me. Even though they are born of me, natu aham teshu. I, however, am not in them. This means I am not under their control. I don't depend upon them. Since they are born of me, I do not depend upon their existence. This is similar to how the existence of the clay does not depend on the existence of pot. But they are in me, all of them, Satvika, Rajasa, Tamasa, all depend entirely upon me, upon my laws. According to my laws, they are born, and the laws are me, and everything is me. So, to exist, they entirely depend upon me. To breathe, they require air, which is me. They require water, which is me. They require fire, which is me. They require earth, food, that is me. They all depend entirely upon me. But I am not in their hands. Please remember, but I am not in their hands. Here, Shankara,
Balaji, do you mind
yeah,
reading the previous paragraph?
yeah,
I
yeah.
kind of wanting to
Yeah,
see
there
what.
is too much of breakage of voice. I'm really
Yeah,
sorry. I will
if you
read
don't
once again.
mind the one, starting from the Rakshasas, Devadas, they were talking about the
Oh,
gunas,
yeah.
right?
Uh,
Yeah, from here, this.
yeah, yeah. I will read. Yeah, sure.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. So the Bhavartha, and those beings and things which are indeed born of Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas, may you know them to be born from me alone. They are in me, but I am not in them. Ye cha eva satvikaha bhavaha. Those things which are born purely of sattva, desires which are sattvika in nature, like a desire to know, are born of sattva. If the antakarana consists of three qualities, sattva, rajas, and tamas, sattva accounts for anything noble, anything in keeping with dharma. Even experiences like happiness, sukha, and tranquility, shanti, are born of sattva. Right attitudes, devotion, prayer are all sattvika bhavaha. Then those things which are born of rajas like ambition, dislike, anger, and so on are all rajasa. And those things which are tamasa in nature are born of tamas. Or we can take it in this way, ye bhavaha can mean those living beings, and sattvikas can mean those who are born of sattva, like the devatas. In this case, it would mean predominantly sattva. And all the rakshasas and so on are born of predominantly rajas. Similarly, tamasas can mean those who are born of predominantly tamas, such as the animals. Then we have the human beings who are sattva, rajas, and tamas put together. This accounts for all types of beings. Or we can take ye bhavaha as those people who are predominantly sattvika or rajasa or tamasa. Such people, all these various beings are all born out of their own karma. That being so, they are all born of me because the very karma is me. The law of karma itself is me. And further, the cause of for everything is me. So nothing is separate from me. To be born, you require a physical body. And for that, you require all 5 gross elements. These are all me. And you require subtle elements because without the subtle elements, there would be no subtle body, nor would there be any gross elements. And the subtle elements are also born of Ishvara. Therefore, there is nothing that is away from me. To be born with a given body, all these ingredients are required. All of them are me. I provide the upadana. I am the material for all of them. So, according to one's own karma, whatever form one takes, whether it is a tamasa or a sattvika form, that form is non-separate from me. So, the Vivarta Upadana Karana and the Parinami Upadana Karana both are Bhagwan.
So here he's saying that he is everything. He's included all the opposites as well. He's not
Yes.
excluded Rakshasas, Devatas, Rakshasas, everything. And I'm just reminded of that beautiful, there is a Devi stotra which says, I am anger, I am Kshuddha. She includes herself as everything. All the, even huh?
Ramraji, that one you are talking about Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu.
Ya Devi, thank you, Malti ji. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Kshuddha Rupena Samstita. And that in that stotra, everything is included, both the positive and the negative qualities. We tend to kind of separate them in our mind, but when you look at it from a bigger aspect, a bigger perspective, they're both part of life. Both opposites are part of life. And what Bhagavan is right now saying is, he is everything. He's the cause of everything. And based on individual karma, each person, because a human being is a mixture of all the 3 gunas, sattva, rajas, tamo gunas. Based on this mixture, whoever is born manifests in whatever form, that is fine. But then he is the one. He's the basis of all of this. And that beautiful thing, he is there in everything. But na teshu te buddha. That is, his existence does not depend on them, on these individuals. He's like the clay. We are all like the pots, but he's the clay. The clay exists in spite of the existence of the pot. So the clay's existence does not depend on whether the pot is existent or not. But the pot does not exist because without the clay. That is very, very beautiful. You can go ahead, Veena.
Yeah, Dhanyavad for making it so beautiful. Explaining. Even
And
though they
also,
are,
Bhagavan is usually is beyond those 3 gunas, right? I mean, the gunas
yes,
is
Gunatita.
from him.
Bhagwan is
Yeah,
Gunatita.
yeah. Then he's he's not under their control. Like they are born of him, but then it's not. Yeah. Nice.
Even though they are born of me, na tu aham teshu. I, however, am not in them. This means I am not under their control. I don't depend upon them. Since they are born of me, I do not depend upon their existence. This is similar to how the existence of the clay does not depend on the existence of pot, but they are in me. All of them, Satvika, Rajasa, Tamasa, all depend entirely upon me, upon my laws. According to my laws, they are born, and the laws are me. And everything is me. So to exist, they entirely depend upon me. To breathe, they require air, which is me. They require water, which is me. They require fire, which is me. They require earth, food, that is me. They all depend entirely upon me, but I am not in their hands. Here, Shankara gives an introduction to the next verse. Even though this is how it is, even though I am the taste in water, I am the strength in the strong, I am the desire itself, I am the one from whom all of the Satvika, Rajasa, and Tamasa are born. And even though nothing is separate from me, even then the world of people does not recognize me, Parmeshwara. Who is that Parmeshwara? Shankara tells here that he is Parama as well as Ishvara. Parama indicates the Swarupa of Ishvara. Whenever we use the word Parameshwara, it covers both the Swarupa of the Lord as well as his status of being Sarvakarana, the cause of everything. I repeat once again as there was a breaking of voice. Here Shankara gives an introduction to the next verse. Even though this is how it is, even though I am the taste in water, I am the strength in the strong, I am the desire itself, I am the one from whom all of the Satvika, Rajasa, and Tamasa are born. And even though nothing is separate from me, even then the world of people does not recognize me, Parmeshwara. Who is that Parmeshwara? Shankara tells here that he is Parama as well as Ishvara. Parama indicates the Swarupa of Ishvara. Whenever we use the word Parameshwara, it covers both the Swarupa of the Lord as well as his status of being Sarva Karana, the cause of everything. Why do we
So
say
beautiful. Sorry,
yeah,
Parameshwara includes both the para and the apara prakritis.
correct,
Both.
yes.
No, so when we say Parameshwara, just that word Parameshwara, with this understanding, should bring to our knowledge and awareness that we're talking of both the Swarupa and the Swabhava of Ishvara, of Brahman.
Why do we say Sarvakarana? In the world, we draw a line and delineate different causes. Physical bodies are born of the physical elements. Therefore, the physical elements are the cause for the physical bodies. Then, the physical elements themselves are products of the subtle elements, and so the subtle elements become the causes. In this way, we can keep on tracing the cause. From the standpoint of a product, we can trace the cause elsewhere. And that cause again is a product for which the karana, cause, is elsewhere. Since there are many karanas in this world, we have to use the word sarva karana for the cause of all. Sarva karana is called Ishvara.
There's no Karana Karanaya. So it's the cause of all the causes.
So beautiful
You
words.
want to read the next one also to understand this Ishvara Swarupa?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Ishvara's Swarupa, eternal, always pure, always enlightened, always free. Then what is Parama Ishvara's Swarupa? What is Parama Ishvara's Swarupa? That alone is the thing that is to be understood here. Therefore, Shankara says that Ishvara's Swarupa is Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Swabhava. This is an expression often used by Shankara when he wants to reveal the Swarupa of Atma, which is Para. The word Para always qualifies either Atma or Brahman. This is such a beautiful revelation. I read once again. Ishvara's Swarupa, eternal, always pure, always enlightened, always free. Then what is Parama, Ishvara's Swarupa? That alone is the thing that is to be understood here. Therefore, Shankara says that Ishvara's Swarupa is Nitya, Shuddha, Buddha, Mukta, Swabhava. This is an expression often used by Shankara when he wants to reveal the Swarupa of Atma, which is Para. The word Para always qualifies either Atma or Brahman. So here I just want you to recall that Para and Apara Prakriti. Para is responsible for sustenance, and which is nothing but Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Swabhava.
Para is the ultimate cause, is the Vivarta Upadana Karana, if you recollect. Not just for sustenance. Sustenance, the Srishti, sustenance and Laya is part of the Apara Prakriti. But the very cause, the ultimate cause of all of this is the Para Prakriti. Right? So that is the Parama he's talking of here, which is describing the Swarupa of Brahman, which is Nitya,
Shuddha Buddha
Shuddha.
Mukta.
Yeah.
You know that para is considered like it's there, eternal, right? I mean, this is eternal, changeless, unaffected. That is that para. Now, para is always like a transient, so it has birth and death and whatever
Sustenance, birth, sustenance,
born.
death. All this is there in the Apara.
So, whatever is born is going to go one day. So everything is transient. So that is para prakriti or the parinama upadana prakriti.
Correct.
Yeah. So that basically that cause for the parinama prakriti is coming from this
Para
vivarta.
prakriti.
Yeah.
Vivarta upadana karana para prakriti.
Yeah. So that's why I was
It is the
curious.
Satyam Jnanam Anantam. That is the
They describing about Maya? That's what my thinking is looking at it. But it looks like right now they're doing the Brahman part.
See, the Parameshwara, if you separate these words, Parama is describing the Para Prakriti, which is the Swarupa of Atma. The Ishvara aspect here is the creative instinct, which is the Apara Prakriti. So when you say Parameshwara, you're including both the aspects.
Yeah. The word
And the previous one also, right? The Parama plus Ishvara, Parameshwara, that was the cause and Karna Karya, that how we read it in the other chapter or that sloka. Yeah.
Karya Karana Sanghata.
That is Karya Karana Sanghat. That is not Karana there. That is when you're talking of the matter equipment.
Karna is the cause, right? That the Karya is the effect. So the way it the way the universe is formed, like remember the way he created it, and then that was the cause, and then when he putting it the material cause that he had caused this, the, what do you call that?
Upadana Karana.
Yeah, but conditioning. Yeah, that he put in that information there. So that's why it's so difficult to explain this Maya Shakti. Like it's there, but then how
Correct.
we explain it, right? Like,
That's why Maya is called Yamasa Maya. That which is not but appears to be is Maya.
right.
So understanding this is the greatest truth. If you've
Yeah.
understood Maya, and you've gone across, you've gone beyond.
Exactly.
That is
So,
why they
like,
say, no,
yesterday we got the point of that Maya's like ignorance, right? That we call it as avarana or vikshepa, that is the Maya, so that's function of that Maya is, that's why we are like in this ignorance, because this veils of that keeping you from the reality. And then vikshepa, like that, you give you that snake rope experience, right? Like, so that, so anyway, I just thought we are like, when we read this Shakti, the three Shakti, I was wondering they would describe that female form of it, but there isn't any female or male kind of thing for Brahman. We are not seeing it like that. But then when it comes to Maya, even Bella mentioned that Durga Ma, or Ma Durga, or whatever. So that's how we think, like, that's why I'm trying to see
we think
how
Shakti
they
is
describe.
to do with feminine energy, but that is again in our mind. For
Yeah, that's
Brahman,
why
it's
that
beyond gender.
our,
Yeah,
yeah. So when it comes to Maya, basically it's one or the other. He said it's everything is Bhagavan. The last paragraph she read, right? That
yeah.
it directly came as though it directly is part of him. So he didn't put it as that it came through that Ishvara part. So that's what a little bit of a question that I had, like why he said Bhagavan, meaning that Bhagavan is, we think it's Brahman.
I didn't actually get what you were trying to convey in the last.
No, the previous paragraph where you read, um, those three things were from Bhagavan. It came, what do you call that? I don't remember the exact sentence. Can
The
you
Icha
quote?
Shakti, Kriya Shakti, and Jnana Shakti. Is that what you're talking
No,
about?
no. You after that, some things you read. It's all from Bhagavan. This car, this. Yeah. Wait. This one.
Here, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas aspect. On
Yeah.
the
Yes.
page,
Somewhere there we read everything is from Bhagavan. The gunas and all the elements and everything else is
yeah,
from,
the
yeah,
nature, the laws are also him only.
yeah,
So you
yeah,
want me to
that.
read this paragraph?
No, not reading it. I'm just saying,
Hmm.
it's so hard to read it up. Hold on. No, go ahead and read further, and then maybe we can
Yeah, I think we were here, right? Yeah. The word Nitya is an important word and it has to be understood properly. That which always is called Nitya. If it always is, it is outside the scope of time. This is what we mean by eternal. Atma is Nitya, eternal. The word Nitya alone points out the nature of Atma and also accompanies all the other words here. Nitya also serves as an adjective to Shuddha, pure, and Shuddha is the Swarupa of the Atma, which is Nitya. Because it is Nitya, it doesn't become pure, nor is it subject to becoming impure. Therefore, he says Nitya Shuddha. Shuddha here means that which is free from bondage, free from samsara, free from all punya papa karma. Then he says Nitya Buddha, always enlightened. In fact, Nitya Buddha means never bound at all. Buddha means the one who is enlightened. If we say he is enlightened, it implies that there was a time when he was not enlightened. If he got enlightened, it was an event that took place at a given time. But here, Atma is Nitya Buddha. When a person says he is enlightened, he only recognizes the fact that he is always enlightened. Therefore, the word Nitya Buddha expresses the fact that Atma is always enlightened. Since the source of bondage is ignorance, one who is Nitya Buddha is naturally Nitya Mukta, always free. There was too much of breakage of voice. Shall I read once again this paragraph?
Yeah, please go ahead, Bela. Read it one more time.
Yeah. There is too much, I don't. Then he says Nitya Buddha. I repeat. Therefore, he says Nitya Shuddha. Shuddha here means that which is free from bondage, free from samsara, free from all punya papa karma. Then he says Nitya Buddha, always enlightened. In fact, Nitya Buddha means never bound at all. Buddha means the one who is enlightened. If we say he is enlightened, it implies that there was a time when he was not enlightened. If he got enlightened, it was an event that took place at a given time. But here, Atma is Nitya Buddha. When a person says he is enlightened, he only recognizes the fact that he is always enlightened. Therefore, the word Nitya Buddha expresses the fact that Atma is always enlightened. Since the source of bondage is ignorance, one who is Nitya Buddha is naturally Nitya Mukta, always free. So beautiful revelation. The Swarupa is always Nitya Shuddha, Nitya Buddha, Nitya Mukta. It is just the veil of ignorance, and because of that, we are not able to recognize our Swarupa.
This is why Gurudev says a person who is enlightened will not say, and a person who says he is not enlightened. Because there must have been a time when he was not enlightened, which is not the fact, which is not true. So Atma is Nitya Buddha, Nitya Shuddha, Nitya Mukta.
हमारे आर्ट ऑफ लिविंग के सारे भजन भी कितने सो प्रॉपरली फ्रेम्ड. नित्यो हम, शुद्धो हम, बुद्धो हम, मुक्तो हम. Are these qualities?
There is an adjective of Nitya over there. Nitya here is used both as a noun as well as as existence per se, as well as an adjective. So it is Nitya, it's eternally pure, eternally liberated, eternally
beyond punya papa.
Beyond all of that.
So, Dr. Brahmana, yeah, that was about the Jnana Shakti. That's where you said Jnana Shakti is Bhagavan, and he also said Kriya Shakti, which is also Bhagavan, and Icha Shakti is also Bhagavan.
Yeah, all three are
Yeah.
him.
Right.
Mhm.
So,
Can someone, I will continue to share the screen. We want to read further, Brahmaraji? If
I think
someone
we
can.
can stop here. You finished this verse, or is there some more in this verse?
Yeah, it is just one more page, I think. Anyone wants to can help me to read just this one because
Yeah,
there
I
is
will. I will.
another.
I will help you. Just give me a second.
Yeah. My voice is breaking too much, right? Or it is okay?
No, it was okay. It was okay, I think.
Okay. Then there is no problem. Okay. Because they are very, very important topics, what we are doing right now. Are these
So, are you?
qualities?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You are
I'm
able to
reading.
continue, Bela?
I will read, Brahmaraji, if the voice
Okay,
is
fine.
not breaking too much.
Fine.
Yeah. Are these qualities? If we look upon Nityatva, Shuddhatva, Muktatva as qualities, then the enlightened person may be considered to have these qualities. Any object has its own qualities, because of which we call it an apple or by some other name. Unlike Atma, an object does not have Nityatva, Shuddhatva and Muktatva. Kshamyatam. Unlike Atma, an object does not have Nityatva, Shuddhatva and Muktatva. If these were qualities, then Atma would be another object which has the attributes of Nityatva, Shuddhatva and Muktatva. It would become another substantive enjoying its own qualities. This is not the case. Atma is not a locus in which qualities reside. When you identify an apple as sweet or red, you recognize those qualities in the particular object which you call apple. If you identify a green leaf, then the leaf is seen and its color green is seen abiding in or qualifying that leaf. Similarly, when you realize the Atma, will you see in the Atma Nityatva and so on, like you see the green in the leaf? No, you will not see all these qualities. A word like Nitya is not a quality, it is a Lakshana. Lakshana, a word that negates and retains part of its own meaning. Nitya is used to reveal that the nature of Atma is not time-bound, anitya. Everything that we know is anitya. Therefore, the word nitya becomes a lakshana to reveal the swarupa of Atma. Atma being a self-evident, self-effulgent being, we only have to negate all the erroneously superimposed attributes like anityatva, etc. And this is done by a word like nitya, which becomes a lakshana. The meaning of the word is retained, but any attribute which is time-bound is negated by the word nitya. Similarly, the word Shuddha negates all impurities like raga, dveshas, and punya, papa, karmas. The word Buddha negates ignorance as well as inertness. Atma is not inert, it is consciousness. And bondage is negated by saying Atma is Mukta. Each word negates and also retains a part of its own meaning. It negates the status of being a quality, but retains the root meaning. This is what we call Lakshana. And the words are given context to reveal the nature of Atma, which is free from attributes. It is our own Swarupa, and it is the Swarupa, the Atma of all beings, Sarva Bhutatma. Shankara says that the seed of samsara is nothing but ajnana, ignorance. Therefore, knowledge of this Nitya, Shuddha, Buddha, Mukta, Swabhava, Atma is the cause for the burning of all samsara. Any knowledge is not going to be different from the very Swarupa of the object. And so here knowledge of Atma is not separate from the very Swarupa of Atma. Naturally then the very knowledge of Atma becomes the cause for burning samsara. Shankara continues to say that people do not know this I, Parmeshwara, who is the cause for burning the seed for the Shamatam, who is the cause for burning the seed of the defect of the entire samsara. They know me in some form, but they do not know me properly. They have some kind of appreciation that there is a cause, but even though I am themselves, they don't know me. In the following verse, Bhagwan shows the cause of the ignorance of the world. If you want to read once again, kindly let me know. Or we can just close our eyes for a few minutes and then we can have our takeaways for today. Yeah, Hari Om, Jai Gurudev. Kindly take over the session and please share everyone.
Can we just have the verses that we covered today?
Yeah, Brahmaraj.
I think we started from
Two verses, I think.
Sarva
10th,
Bhutanam.
we repeated 10th and 11th, which we did yesterday, but I read it once again, 10th and 11th. You want to read the, from here I start. Can someone help to read?
No need to read. I think we can just go through the verses once and then we can do Manana on that. So today 6:10. I think Bijam Mam Sarva Bhutanam Vidhi Partha Sanatanam Buddhir Buddhimatam Asmi Tejas Tejasvinamaham Balam Balavatam Asmi Kamaraga Vivarjitam. What is the other one? Dharma Viruddho Bhuteshu Kamosmi Bharatarshapha. See, in the same talking, he says, Balam Balavatam Asmi Kamaraga Vivarjitam. I am the strength and the brilliance amongst people, which is devoid of Kama and Raga, which is devoid of that. The Kama here is described as wanting to acquire something which you don't have. And Raga is getting attached to what you have. So that aspect, he is Vivarjita. He is the strength without that. So basically the first line is to negate ahankara. And then he talks of dharma viruddho bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshaba. So he says, I am kama, but what kind of kama? Dharma viruddho bhuteshu. That kama, that desire which is in keeping with dharma. That is the Ichcha Shakti he's talking of. And that is what I think yesterday we all very beautifully discussed that. So he's used the kama. He says, I'm not kama raga vivarjitam in the first line. And the second line, he says, I am that kama, but that which is attuned with dharma, the Ichcha Shakti. And then, ye chaiva satvika bhava rajasastamasaschaye matta eveti tan vidhi natvaham teshu te mayi. Such beautiful verses, really, no? So he says, I am, let me just read this. And those beings and things which are indeed born of sattva, rajas, and tamas, may you know them to be born from me alone. They are in me, but I am not in them. This seems to be a little confusing if you just take the face value. They are in me, but I am not in them. Here, that I am not in them actually means that his existence does not depend upon them. So whether or not the pot is there, clay is always there. So similarly, but then every part of the pot has clay in it. So they are in me, but I am not in them. And then we've come to this Lakshana and qualities. This is the problem with English language, is it has its limitations. So Lakshana is a word that negates and retains part of the meaning. So maybe we'll do this little part later tomorrow one more time, and then we can go ahead. If anyone else wants to share, please go ahead. We'll have about few minutes for sharing of this, and then we'll go to the chapter 6.
Hari Om Brahmaraji, you want me to share for chapter 6 the screen? I will put the screen on.
Actually, what I was wanting to suggest is, from tomorrow when we start Manana, it is good to chant all the shlokas that we've covered till now. So then we understand, rather than just start with the shloka that we have left from. That way, we'll not only get the Sanskrit verses plus also the meaning. So when we actually do our daily Gita chanting, the meaning also will start getting more and more evident.
Okay, so you mean from the first shloka of chapter 7?
First shloka,
right?
we'll start. Now we are in the 11th or 12th, no?
Yeah.
So maybe we can chant that. It'll take about what, few minutes?
Okay.
But that's worth it.
Yeah. And
I was
along with the
to suggest
artha.
this. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
Anyone else wants to share in these few verses?
I will take out this chapter 6 shloka.
Yeah, chapter 6. Yeah. Can you, or should I get into my lap?
I will not be able to read Brahmaraji.
No problem. Doesn't matter, Bella. In fact, if it's just that I still don't have Wi-Fi
this was
here.
the shloka. Was this the shloka? I have learned some techniques, so now I'm.
Cool.
Can you see on the screen?
It is, I think, shloka number 21. We were supposed
21.
to take.
Okay. Yeah.
That sukham atyantikam yattat buddhigrahya matindriyam veti yatra na chaivayam.
Yeah. Can you see on the screen?
Huh?
You can see on the screen.
Yeah, we can see the
right?
screen.
Okay.
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
So before we go to this shloka, anyone wants to share anything about the chapter 7? So when you look at it from a perspective of Brahman, everything is included. There is no good, bad, right, wrong from that aspect. But as you keep coming down towards the manifest world, we have this distinction between dharma, adharma, right, wrong, negative qualities, positive qualities, because all of these have their cause, have Ishvara as their cause. So that stotra of Yadevi Sarva Bhuteshu, that actually takes you to the highest state where there is no distinction. At the same time, the Lakshana of Ishvara, the Swarupa of Ishvara is Nitya, is existence. And it also describes that because he is free from ignorance, he is Nitya Mukta, Nitya Buddha, and Nitya Shuddha. He's ever pure, ever. So it is not like he was, not like an object. If it's an object, like an apple or a banana or something, you can describe its qualities. But whereas for Atma, Brahman, that is absolute. I mean, you cannot say there was a time when he was not. He's ever present. He's the only one. So for such a thing, what kind of qualities can you describe? So that eternity, that nityatva is there throughout for him. Yeah. Fine. Just wanted to add that. So should we go to chapter 6? Is anyone ready with sharing the summary? I think the previous shloka talks of, I can't remember the previous shloka. If I remember right, Swamiji had mentioned that the succeeding 3 or 4 verses describes the state that this person
The
who is
20th one is Yatru Paramate Chittam Viruddham Yoga Sevaya.
yeah.
Yatra Chaiva Atmana Atmanikam. Remember you were explaining the words Atmana Atmanam Pashyana Atmani Tushyati.
Pasyanatmani Tushyati.
Yeah,
so he revels in himself, right? And then it continues here as Sukham Matyantikam Yattat Buddhigrahyamatīndriyam Veti Yatra na Chaivayam Stitas Chalati Tattvataha. Just do the Pratipadartha. Yattat, that which is, Atyantikam, absolute, Buddhigrahyam, recognized by the intellect, Atindriyam, beyond sense perception, Sukham, happiness, Yatra, when, Ayam Veti, one recognizes, Cha and Stitaha, being well rooted therein, Tattvataha, from the truth of oneself, Na eva chalati, one never moves away. So yattat atyantikam buddhigrahyam atindriyam sukham yatra ayam veti cha stitaha tattvataha na eva chalati. And when one recognizes this absolute happiness, which is recognized by the intellect, which is beyond sense perception, and when being rooted therein, one never moves away from the truth of oneself. So this again is the thought, is the state of the ultimate state that a meditator reaches is being described here. And I think Swamiji goes on to saying, he describes very beautifully about how the thought is required. There are two aspects. One is in the material world, and second is with respect to Atma or Brahman. The vritti is required. To begin with, the vritti is required. For instance, he explains as in, if there is a pot, you must have a vritti, the pot vritti, that is the ghata vritti. That is step one. And the second is that you recognize that you have this vritti. That is the second step. So with respect to all the anityam, all the anatma vastus, we have two vrittis, there is a two-step recognition of that particular object. First, you have the vritti of the object, and then you recognize it. Whereas with respect to Atma, there is only one step. You require the vritti, which is in the form of the pramana from the Shastra, like Aham Brahmasmi or Tattvamasi. And then when you contemplate on that vritti, there is, you are that. You are not separate from that. So the vritti actually drops, and you recognize it. It is not an experience. And with how do you do this? It is with the buddhi, but it is beyond sense perception. Atindriyam, it is beyond the senses, beyond logic, beyond all that we can perceive. So when a person reaches that state, there is no coming back. And then later he goes on to explain how very beautifully in Ashtanga Yoga, the samadhi, nirvikalpa samadhi, is the highest state that one achieves when practicing Ashtanga Yoga. But then that remains as an experience. That is not again the ultimate state that what is being described by this shloka. Because if you're in that samadhi state, all it requires is for some little disturbance. Maybe someone turns on the vacuum cleaner, or they open the door loudly, and you're out of the samadhi. So that is only an experience. That is not an eternal state, that eternal state of that tattvataha. You're not rooted, you're not stitas chalati tattvataha. Na eva chalati. He does not move away from that state if he has completely recognized the Atma. So very beautifully he describes the distinction between experience and recognition. So when we do Sahaj Samadhi meditation, or the meditation after our sadhana, all that is, it's a beautiful state, no doubt. No doubt it is an excellent state, a state of stillness. But that is not also the end, because we come back to our own state of where the mind is agitated, filled with thoughts, and we go up and down in our emotions. But people like, say, for instance, Gurudev, Ramana Maharshi, all of them, they are in that state 24/7. They are na eva chalati. They do not move away from that state. No matter whether they're eating, talking, doing things, they remain rooted in that state. So that is the highest state that I think the shloka is trying to explain. And also he talks about difference between absolute sukha and relative sukha. One is the Vishaya Sukha, Vidya Sukha, and Yoga Sukha. These are all relative sukhas. And Vishaya Sukha is the sukha that you get when you acquire some object that you have desired. That little happiness that you get, that is the Vishaya Sukha. Whereas Vidya Sukha is like now when we are doing this Manana, when you're able to understand some concept, say, aho, or yes, I understood that. That is the Sukha that you get from understanding, from knowledge. That is the Vidya Sukha. And then you have Yoga Sukha, which we can describe when we're practicing yoga, when we're in that state of stillness, that joy, that we are in the present moment. That sukha that we get is the yoga sukha. I suppose also the sukha that we get when we are in that nirvikalpa samadhi, that is yoga sukha. But these are all relative because they all have a birth, they sustain for a while and they dissolve. They're not there forever. Whereas absolute sukha is what this atindriyam, buddhigrahyam atindriyam, and sthitas chalati tattvataha na eva chalati. That this absolute sukha is that from which you will not, there is no question of you moving away from that sukha once you reach that, recognize that state. So this is my understanding. So if anyone else wants to add or share, please do.
Jai Gurudev, there was also the Turiya Sukha, the fourth state you said about
Correct,
that?
correct. You want to share about that? I forgot about the Turiya Sukha.
Yeah, the fourth Sukha, the Turiya Sukha, which is not dependent upon any for any achievement or accomplishment which you have gained. It is just the recognition of your own self. That is the
This is what is being talked of right here, no? Turiya Sukha.
Yeah. Atyanstika Sukha. And also like the Nirvikalp Samadhi, it is compared with deep sleep also. Like in deep sleep, there is Nirvikalp, but the mind, the intellect mind is not awake at that time. Whereas in Nirvikalp Samadhi, the mind is awake.
Yeah, very beautiful. Nice.
I want to share. Yesterday, I was going through a lot of what we have done in the past, and where there were paragraphs that you perform rituals to some devatas, and then ultimately I only am granting all the boons, etc. And it, like Vasudeva, you meditate on Vasudeva, you pray to Vasudeva, was what was being said in a nutshell. I don't know, when it came to me, when I was personally analyzing myself, I found that I always reach out in meditation, in prayer to Gurudev. So I don't know. I was at, I am not yet able to reach out to Vasudeva. My everything is Gurudev. Like,
no, you are seeing the ultimate in Gurudev. No, that is what it is. It does not need to be Vasudeva as the Lord with Shankha Chakra Gada. No, not required. For us, Gurudev is the ultimate. So as long as we understand that there is only one source of all the prayers ultimately go to that one source. Who that source is doesn't matter. No?
so that is not limiting myself, is what you're saying?
No, of course not limiting. Of course not limiting. When you know that Gurudev is synonymous to Vasudev,
it's not like I don't have this thing towards Vasudeva or something like that, but it's like I reach out directly to Gurudev only. It just happens naturally.
That's it. That's absolutely fine. Here we're not getting into the Nama Rupa and all that. No. We're looking at the essence. The essence is that there is only one from which everything else comes. So you met, like they did some Soma Yaga and all that for rains. When they invoke Indra, they invoke a specific deity there. That is a specific deity. But who is ultimately giving it through that form of that deity is Ishvara only, is Vasudeva only, is Gurudev only. So that essence is what we are. So as long as we get the point, it does not really matter. I think with respect to what you've read, you must have read maybe chapter 4 where they talk of all the rituals, chapter 4 or 5, I suppose.
I was going through everything yesterday in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Because I've been trying to revise and get up. that I've sorted out all the chapters and all that. I filed them separately. Otherwise, I big mixture. So I'm trying
Yeah,
to catch up, and
very
then
nice.
maybe I'm one step behind in my thought process of what when
No,
everything is.
no, I think not, Percy Ji. As long as we know there is only that one consciousness, which is ultimate, it is only uh, manifesting it in different ways, all these Devi, Devatas and all of that. So the only point where Bhagwan mentioned that was for us not to get caught up with these Devi, Devatas and say, oh, this is ultimate. There is some Karana Karanaya. There is the cause of all of these causes. The one behind all of them who is actually giving you whatever you're asking, what you, as a result of your rituals or prayers.
Okay.
So therefore, when we pray, when we contemplate, it is good for us at this point of time to contemplate on the highest, on that Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam aspect, which is what Gurudev signifies, which is what Gurudev symbolizes.
Jai Gurudev, when we have this, go into meditation, we only have for a split of seconds only, we are in that Nirvikalp Samadhi. So I was just, when reading this shloka, the line that was there, that written, that the length of time that one is in Nirvikalp Samadhi has no meaning. Like it's that you interpret that experience which you have got during that Nirvikalp Samadhi, you interpret it, and that interpretation is only through the means of knowledge or the pramana. And it further described that the knower, the knowledge, and the object of knowledge, the oneness should be, you should see all is one. Then until unless you go to that level, that the seer, the drishta, the drishya, and the they are all the same. Until unless you will not have that frame of mind or that inner growth, I think you will always remain in that duality. This Nirvikalp Samadhi that Guruji is in, or all the other saints who are in Nirvikalp Samadhi all the time, they have crossed this barrier of differentiation, like they've crossed that duality. They see all in one, themselves, then the Ishvara, then the whatever they are experiencing, or any this. So that is that will take many janmas.
I don't know whether it will take many janmas or whether you can get it right now. That is
but
up to
it's through practice only. No, you every time when
practice.
with alert mind, you always see all the situations that you are just a drishta, like you are eating. So it's not you are eating; it's
Correct.
Ishvara. And whenever you are doing something, it's not you are doing; it's the Ishvara. Every time that the thought of Ishvara, when it's constantly coming, and you are connected, then that drishta and that whole thing becomes the same. And that, while reading this, I was thinking that we do meditation maybe an hour. Like my meditation is for an hour. So I had, sometimes the meditation is good, sometimes the meditation is not so good. So when reading this shloka, I as if I was reading myself. It was like that. So and ultimately it holds that it has no meaning. So I was thinking that is it futile that I get up at 4 o'clock, or like what am I doing? It should be the whole day. You should be in that frame of mind. Until unless you are not in that frame, you are not achieving anything.
Doesn't matter. Here, see, like what he says later, I think he talks of abhyasa and vairagya. So we continue doing what is to be done without that feverishness of wanting to achieve. Even this wanting to achieve the state, it is, if it is just as a purushartha, that moksha purushartha is fine. But if there is an element of raga attached to it, if there's an element of craving and feverishness attached to it, then it becomes we're again getting back into the cycle.
Yeah.
Which is
So
why
it's
we say, even in Sahaj meditation, not to sit with saying, oh, I want to get that experience, I had that beautiful experience. Does not matter what kind of experience, be non-judgmental, but continue doing your practice. It does not mean because one day you've not had a good experience, you say, oh, what is this meditation? Why am I doing all these practices? It's taking me nowhere. No, that is where you don't give up. You continue. That abhyasa, nirantara abhyasa has to continue. And with that vaira, with that sense of dispassion. So
yeah,
not
it's
to
just
worry.
checking upon ourselves day by day.
Correct. Yeah.
And don't get entangled in anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, that is what Loveleen says. It is Gurudev who through the path is making us realize and know Vasudev. And it's all in one and one in all. Yeah, very good. So should we close here? We'll take up, I'm not sure whether we've done justice to chapter Shloka 21. If we've covered all the aspects that Swamiji is trying to explain here, that's fine. Otherwise, we'll just revise that one more time and then go to verse 22 tomorrow. So we'll wind up here. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Jai Gurudev.